Hello everybody, this is Miss Roos. We are on day 10 notes. The title is Graphing Equations of Lines. Here we go, graphing lines. When given a linear equation, we can graph the line if we know the rate of change and the y-intercept of that line. So, slope-intercept form. This is our main form here, highlighting that yellow. This is super important to us, so let's label some of the pieces. In this form, m is the same thing as slope, which is the same thing as rate of change. Or maybe you've heard of that phrase, rise over run. That one's pretty popular too. Those are all the same, interchangeable. If you are on a test and it says find the rate of change, it is talking about the slope. For b is equal to the y-intercept. So go ahead and fill that in. Okay, most of the times we are going to give that y-intercept in form of a point. Moving down, it says, if the linear equation is not in slope-intercept form, we can solve for y to rewrite it in that form. This is going to be the easiest way for us, okay? Before we start graphing lines, let's first practice getting y alone and putting the equation in slope-intercept form. Sometimes the equation is already given to us in slope-intercept form, but sometimes we're not so lucky. So that's why we're going to practice example 1, example 2, and example 3. It says, put the following equation into slope-intercept form, then identify the slope and identify the y-intercept. So we're kind of doing a little bit of solving here. Problem 1, 2x plus y equals 10. I want to solve for y, so I'm going to separate this to help me organize my solving, and I want to move that 2x over. So I'm going to have to subtract that 2x to the right hand side. That's going to leave me with y is equal to negative 2x plus 10. And the reason why I put that negative 2x in front is so that it matches the form I have, slope-intercept form, and then my b term is at the end. This way it's very simple to identify my slope. Right here, this negative 2 is my slope. And then at the end here, this is my b value. And like I said earlier, I'm going to want to write this as a coordinate. So I'm going to write this as 0, 10. Problem 2. I'm going to solve this, so I'm going to separate it out. And I have negative 2 times y. To undo multiplication, I need to divide. What I do to the left, I have to do to every term on the right-hand side. That's going to get rid of my negative 2 there. And I'm left with y is equal to negative 4x minus 10. And this looks almost identical to my slope-intercept form up top. This is great. So, identifying my pieces, the negative 4 in front of x is my slope. My slope is equal to negative 4. The b value is at the end there. My b value is negative 10. I'm going to rewrite that as an ordered pair because this will help us graphing later on. So this is 0, negative 10. Problem 3, solving for y. Separate that out. First thing I should do is add x over. I'm going to have 3y is equal to x plus 6. And again, I'm just staying consistent, always putting my x term first. Then I have to divide every single thing by 3. Okay, and that's going to leave me y by itself. Y is going to equal 1 over 3. Fractions are okay. 1 over 3x plus 2. Let's label some of these pieces. That 1 over 3 is my slope, so m is 1/3. Remember, this means you rise 1, you would run 3. And that 2 on the end is my b value. Writing that as a coordinate, I have 0, 2. Next, we have these two rare, kind of strange cases. Let's talk about these really quick because sometimes students are confused on the visual. So, for problem 4, y is equal to 8. Let me show you what this looks like. I'm going to draw my little grid there. I want to go up 8 spots. So I'm going to put in 8 tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to put a point there, plot my point. In this graph, y equals 8 should be going left to right. Okay, this is a horizontal line. In this type of example, my slope is going to be 0. And I kind of remember that because if I was walking along this line, I could, and that means I have a slope of 0. It's just kind of that flat line. And for this example, my b is 8, and remember we've been writing that as an ordered pair, so it would be 0, 8. That is my, and if you want to label this is my y-intercept. Problem 5, let's get the visual, so I'm going to draw another graph here. This time it's x is equal to 9. So this time I want to go to the right on my x-axis 9 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to plot that point. And my graph, when I draw this in to show you, is going up and down. This is a vertical line. Okay, and when you have this kind of situation, my slope is actually going to be what we call undefined. So imagine if I was trying to walk up this straight line here, that would pretty much be impossible. I could not do that, so that is why I think of it as undefined. On the back, steps to graphing a line. There are 4 main steps. Please follow these steps. I'm going to be talking through these steps in problems 6 and 7. If you ever need help on your homework or studying for a quiz or a test, please come back and look at these main steps. These will really, really help you out. All right, the next examples. It says graph the following linear equation. Follow the steps above. Again, I'm going to be referencing those steps. Problem 6. Y is equal to negative 2/3 x plus 7. Sometimes they give you the equation in slope-intercept form. They're kind of being nice. You luck out. And from here, I don't have to change anything. I can jump to step 2, which is plot the y-intercept. We've been practicing that. My y-intercept comes from that last term, and we can write it as an ordered pair. So 0, 7. So I have to go to my graph, and I have to plot my point 0, 7. So that means I'm going to go up 7 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There it is. Now, step 3, it says use the slope to help you graph more points. Okay? Figuring out the slope. This is coming from our equation. It's coming from that negative 2/3. There's my slope. Remember, and if you want to write this in, this is rise over run. That means starting at my y-intercept here, I want to go down 2 spots, and I want to run 3 spots. Plot a point. Down 2, run 3. Down 2, run 3. Give me, 3, 4 points on there so that when I connect my dots, I have a very accurate straight line. Problem 7. Problem 7 is not so nice. This is not in slope-intercept form, so I have to start with step 1. Change it to slope-intercept form. I'm going to divide it out. First thing I'm going to do is subtract 4x. Subtract that over. I'm going to be left with negative 2y is equal to negative 4x plus 6. Now I have to divide every piece by negative 2. And now I will have y by itself. Y equals positive 2x minus 3. And this is in that slope-intercept form. Step 2. Plot the y-intercept. My y-intercept comes from this b value that is 0, negative 3. So I go on my graph and I go down 3 spots. 1, 2, 3, plot my point. Step 3 is find the slope. My slope is coming from that number in front of x, so my slope is 2. Think about this as 2 over 1. So I rise 2, I run 1. Go to your point, rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. Give me a couple more points here. Okay, that's pretty good. And then connect your dots the best you can. Give me arrows at the end of those lines here. You should have a straight diagonal line. Problem 8. Problem 8 is like that rare case that we talked about in example 4. Okay, this looks very similar. I need to go up on my graph 5 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you remember, y equals is always a horizontal line looking like that, going left to right. And right underneath here, it asks, what is the slope of this line? We also talked about this, okay? That is equal to 0. Remember, if I'm a little guy walking on this line, I can do it. So I think about that as slope of 0. Talking about the visual for number 9, okay, if you want to imagine that there is a 1 right in front of that x. Remember, sometimes in math we get a little lazy, but you can put a 1 there. And you can also imagine, and I'm going to write in, that there's a plus 0 at the end. Okay, that plus 0 is like your b value that we've been finding. This is 0, 0. That's where I'm going to plot my point. Now we need to figure out the slope. The slope is coming from that 1 that I put in. So my slope is equal to 1, or you can think about it as 1 over 1. That's rise 1, run 1. So from my blue point, I rise 1, run 1. Rise 1, run 1. Keep going, give me a couple points, and then you can connect your dots. And you now have the line representing y equals x. Last little question here at the bottom. It says, what would the graph look like if it were x equals 5? This is just like problem number 5 that we did before. Let's go ahead and jot down here. If it looked like x equals 5, it would be a vertical line. Okay? We are done. Have a great day.